The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, Part 1. This follows a group of pilgrims traveling to Canterbury. They tell stories to entertain each other, sharing lessons about love, betrayal, and life. The tales offer insights into their personalities and medieval society. From a moral philosophical standpoint, The Knight's Tale is a romanticized tale that explores courtly love and chivalry but also exposes the tragic consequences of rigid honor codes. The Miller's Tale critiques human folly, highlighting the consequences of excessive indulgence in lust and deception. The Reeve's Tale is a cynical commentary on the cyclical nature of revenge, highlighting the futility of retaliation. The Cook's Tale is a philosophical reflection on the effects of a life led by vice, warning against the eroded dignity of an unchecked, hedonistic life. The Man of Law's Tale glorifies patience, virtue, and divine justice, but raises questions about the cause of passive suffering. The Wife of Bat's Tale challenges medieval views on gender and power, proposing mutual respect and shared sovereignty for a harmonious life. The Friar's Tale exposes the moral hypocrisy of those meant to uphold spiritual virtue, emphasizing the need for moral authority earned through integrity rather than the position. And finally, the Summer's Tale, which reinforces the critique of clerical greed, highlighting the easy consumption of religious figures by materialism. Upon reflection, the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer has 24 tales, and we will focus on the part 1 where it consists 8 tales. These are the Knight's Tale, Miller's Tale, Reeve's Tale, Cook's Tale, Man of Law's Tale, Wife of Bat's Tale, Friar's Tale, and the Summoner's Tale. The Knight's Tale is a tale that is chivalrous and serious tale because it portrays themes such honor, love, and destiny. It tells the story of two knights, Arcite and Palamon, who are in love with the same woman, Emily, and thus become the bitterest of enemies. The tale emphasizes tension between human free will and intervention of fate since the actions of the characters are trying to control their destinies are mostly thwarted by people outside their powers. The Miller's Tale, by contrast, it is a ribald comedy of lust, deception, and comeuppance that mocks the courtly ideals of the Knight's Tale, substituting for them ordinary people caught up in a web of deceit. Through outrageous schemes and unwise foolishness, each of these characters is overthrown by his own desires. Instead, Miller's Tale is a satirical judgment against the human nature that sometimes lust and folly lead to comical disaster. In Reeve's Tale, the theme of deceit is reversed into the thread of revenge and competition of class. It is founded on two clerks outwitted by an adulterous miller who go ahead to take revenge by sleeping with his wife and daughter. He uses this tale as a way of mocking the miller from the earlier tale in a spate of one-upmanship. Next is the Cook's Tale, which is this is a fragmentary but it tells us a tale of moral retribution wherein the life lived under the compulsion of loose pleasure and unresponsiveness. That is, its lesson is do not live a life of unrestrained desire. Next is the Man of Law's Tale. This creates a somber spiritual atmosphere, that of a Christian woman named Constance who suffers many trials and afflictions at the hands of others. Indeed, there is forced marriages and betrayal, exile. However, through faith and patience, she concludes justly and saved. The Wife of Bat's Tale plays against traditional thinking on marriage and gender roles because the story turns out to be the tale of a knight who comes to an epiphany of what women want to have sovereignty over their choices and lives as long as they want. This tale provides a feminist perspective because women should be in control and there must be mutuality in the relationship. And lastly, obviously, the Friar's Tale laments corruptness within the church as realized in its strong form, greed, and hypocrisy in summoners. A criticism reveals how religious leaders exploit their powerful position to serve their interests. The selection by jokes, irony, and comedy illustrates moral feelings of those within whom virtue must be discovered. Both Friar's Tale and Summer's Tale show a very sharp onslaught on the church using comedy and satire in order to expose the moral corruption of religious individuals.